Let me say this. Whenever you are close to victory, the greatest opposition arises. The moment you step into the edge of breakthrough, the enemy increases the pressure. Why? Because he knows you're about to win. The battles you are facing right now are not because you are weak. They are because you are a threat. The resistance is proof that you are carrying something valuable. Listen carefully. If you were not destined for greatness, the enemy wouldn't waste his time attacking you. Every time a champion is about to emerge, the enemy shows up. When Joseph was given a dream of rulership, his brothers betrayed him. When Moses was born, Pharaoh ordered the killing of every Hebrew baby boy. When Jesus came into the world, Herod sent soldiers to destroy him. Why? Because the enemy always tries to stop what he fears. Your trials are not random. Your struggles are not meaningless. The pressure is a sign that you are on the verge of something great. The enemy is not fighting you because of where you are. He is fighting you because of where you are going. And here is the good news. No attack, no opposition, no obstacle can stop what has already been declared over your life. You were created to win. You were designed for dominion. You were born to succeed. The enemy may have strategies, but you have something greater. You have purpose. Have you ever noticed that just when you decide to move forward, when you commit to changing your life, that's when things seem to get harder? It's not a coincidence. Every great victory is preceded by great resistance. The moment you decide to rise, to pursue your vision, to step into your destiny, something comes to push you back. The enemy does not attack where there is no progress. He fights where there is movement, where there is momentum. Look at history. Look at the patterns. Every time a person is on the verge of stepping into something great, adversity comes like a flood. When Israel was about to leave Egypt after 400 years of slavery, Pharaoh increased their labor, made their lives unbearable, and tried to keep them bound. Why? Because freedom was near, because destiny was calling. And the same is true for you. Some of you are wondering why life has become more challenging since you made the decision to grow. You thought making the right choices would make things easier, but instead the pressure increased. That's because the enemy sees what you are becoming. He sees that you are breaking free from limitations, stepping into purpose and refusing to settle. He knows that once you fully step into your calling, nothing will be able to stop you. So his strategy is to wear you down before you get there. Think about Jesus. The moment he was baptized, the moment his ministry was about to begin, he was led into the wilderness to be tested. Why? Because before greatness is revealed, there is always a season of testing. The enemy wanted to stop him before he even started, but Jesus overcame. He endured, and he stepped fully into his purpose. That same pattern applies to you. So if you are facing unusual resistance right now, don't be discouraged. Don't let the pressure convince you to turn back. The enemy is not fighting you because of where you are. He is fighting you because of where you are going. The struggle is an indication that you are stepping into something significant. The pressure is a sign that your breakthrough is closer than you think. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to second-guess your purpose. Stand firm, keep pressing forward, because the enemy wouldn't be fighting you this hard if you weren't about to win. Resistance is proof that you are a threat. You don't attack what isn't dangerous. You don't fight what isn't valuable. And the enemy does not waste time on people who pose no threat to his agenda. The very fact that you are facing opposition, setbacks, and challenges is evidence that you carry something powerful inside of you. Look around. Why is it that some people seem to go through life without much struggle, while others face battle after battle? It's because the enemy doesn't bother what is already under his control. But the moment you decide to break free, the moment you choose to pursue your destiny, the enemy takes notice. You have become a target not because you are weak, but because you are powerful. Look at David. He was just a shepherd boy, unknown, unnoticed until he was anointed. The moment he was marked for kingship, the enemy arose. Goliath stood in his path. Saul hunted him down. He faced battle after battle, not because he was unworthy, but because he was destined for greatness. The attacks on his life were proof that he was a threat to the enemy's kingdom. The same is true for you. The enemy isn't after your present, he's after your potential. He's not attacking where you are, he's attacking where you are going. He sees the leader in you, the world changer, the one who will impact lives, and he's afraid. That's why resistance increases when you start walking in purpose. That's why the moment you begin to rise, distractions come, betrayals happen, and difficulties appear. But let me tell you something. If the enemy is fighting you, it's because you are worth fighting. It's not because you are sabotaged, and because you are worth. Every champion faces opposition. Every great leader encounters resistance. And if you study history, you will see a pattern. Those who changed the world were the ones who faced the greatest battles. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and imprisoned, but it was all because he was destined for rulership. Moses was threatened by Pharaoh, rejected by his own people, and challenged in the wilderness. But it was because he carried a mission to set people free. Jesus himself faced constant attacks from religious leaders, betrayals from close friends, and ultimately the cross. But it was because he carried the greatest assignment of all. So what about you? Are you facing challenges right now? Are you feeling pressure from every side? Do you sometimes wonder why things seem to be so difficult? It's because you are carrying something valuable. It's because you are a threat, and that is not something to fear. That is something to celebrate, because it means you are on the right track. It means the enemy sees something in you that you may not even see in yourself. This is why you must not give up. This is why you cannot afford to quit, because resistance is the proof that you are on the path to something great. Don't let the pressure make you doubt your purpose. Don't let the challenges make you forget who you are. Stand firm. Keep pressing forward. Because the enemy wouldn't be fighting you if you weren't about to win. The enemy attacks what he fears. He doesn't waste time on anything that isn't a threat. He doesn't fight what has no potential. If you feel under attack, if you feel like life is pressing in on you, it's because the enemy sees something powerful inside you. He knows that if you ever discover who you truly are, if you ever step into your full potential, there will be nothing he can do to stop you. Look at the pattern. The enemy always moves against what he fears. When Moses was born, Pharaoh ordered the killing of every Hebrew baby boy. Why? Because he knew a deliverer was coming. He didn't know exactly who it was, but he knew someone was about to rise. When Jesus was born, Herod did the same thing. He slaughtered innocent children in an attempt to stop the King of Kings from stepping into his destiny. The enemy was afraid, so he acted in desperation. And this is how he operates in your life. The moment you start stepping into purpose, the moment you start believing in yourself, distractions come, attacks increase. People you never expected turn against you. It's not random. It's not coincidence. It's because the enemy sees you getting closer to your calling, and he's afraid. Some of you are wondering why you've been facing so much pressure. Why, when you try to do the right thing, everything seems to go wrong? Why, when you commit to growth, to becoming better, you face more challenges than ever before? It's because the enemy fears what you are becoming. He's not fighting your past, he's fighting your future. Think about Joseph. He was just a young man with a dream. He wasn't a king yet, he wasn't a ruler, he had no position, no throne, no authority, but the enemy saw his potential. His own brothers turned against him, threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, and he was thrown into prison. Why? Because the enemy was trying to stop him before he could rise. But what the enemy didn't realize was that every attack was actually pushing Joseph closer to his destiny. What was meant to destroy him only prepared him for greatness. And the same is happening in your life. The enemy sees what you don't see. He sees the gifts inside you. He sees the calling on your life. He sees the influence you are going to have, and he is afraid. That's why he attacks you with discouragement, with distractions, with betrayals, with fear. Because if he can get you to doubt yourself, if he can make you give up, he wins. But hear me today. He would not be attacking you if he wasn't afraid of you. This is why you must not be shaken. You must not let the pressure break you. The attacks on your life are not a sign of your weakness. They are proof of your greatness. The enemy is not fighting you because you are small. He is fighting you because he knows you are about to win. Trials are a sign of impending greatness. Every champion, every leader, every person who has ever accomplished something significant had to go through trials before stepping into their destiny. There is no elevation without resistance, no breakthrough without opposition, no testimony without a test. If you are facing challenges right now, if you are walking through storms, it's because something great is on the other side. The struggle is not there to destroy you, it is there to prepare you. Look at how the process works. Before gold is purified, it has to go through fire. Before a diamond shines, it has to be put under extreme pressure. Before a warrior is strong, they must endure intense training. And before a person steps into greatness, they must walk through trials that refine their character and strengthen their resolve. The difficulty you are facing is not punishment, it is preparation. Think about Joseph. He had a dream of rulership, a vision of his future, but before he could step into that destiny, he had to go through trials, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, falsely accused, imprisoned. Every stage of his journey looked like a setback, but in reality, it was a setup. Every challenge was shaping him, maturing him, preparing him for the greatness that awaited him. The trials were not signs that he was forgotten. They were signs that he was on his way to fulfillment. The same was true for David. He was anointed as king, but before he could take the throne, he had to go through a season of trials. He was hunted by Saul, forced to hide in caves, surrounded by danger, but it was in those moments of trial that his leadership was refined, his faith was strengthened, and his character was developed. The trials were not a sign that he was off track. They were proof that he was on the path to greatness. And look at Jesus. Before stepping into his purpose, he was tested in the wilderness. Before the resurrection, there was the cross. Before glory, there was suffering. Every trial was part of the journey necessary to fulfill his mission. So if you are facing difficulties, do not be discouraged. The pressure, the opposition, the struggles, they are all indicators that you are on the verge of something greater. The trials are shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what is coming. The enemy would not be fighting you if there wasn't something worth fighting for. This is why you cannot afford to give up. You cannot allow temporary struggles to make you abandon eternal promises. Stand firm, because your trials are not a sign of defeat. They are proof that you are on your way to victory. The enemy fights your future, not your past. He is not concerned with where you have been. He is terrified of where you are going. The battles you are facing right now are not about what you have done, but about what you are about to do. The enemy does not attack where there is no potential. He attacks where there is destiny. Some people wonder why the moment they decide to step forward, to grow, to change their life, all kinds of obstacles appear. It's because the enemy sees beyond your present situation. He sees what you are becoming, and he knows that once you step into your full potential, there will be nothing he can do to stop you. He fights you now because he's afraid of what you are about to become. Look at the story of Moses. As a baby, he had done nothing to threaten Pharaoh. He was just a child, helpless and unknown. Yet Pharaoh ordered The execution of all Hebrew baby boys. Why? Because the enemy saw that a deliverer was coming. Moses had not yet performed miracles. He had not yet confronted Pharaoh. But the enemy saw his future and tried to stop him before he could rise. The same was true for Joseph. He was just a young boy with a dream. He had no position, no influence, no authority. Yet the enemy stirred his brothers to hate him, to throw him into a pit, to sell him into slavery. Why? Because it wasn't about where Joseph was. It was about where he was going. The enemy saw a ruler in him before he ever sat on the throne. He saw a leader before Joseph even realized his own potential. And look at Jesus. Before he performed a single miracle, before he preached a single sermon, Herod sought to kill him. Why? Because the enemy wasn't fighting where Jesus was. He was fighting where Jesus was going. He knew that once Jesus stepped into his purpose, his kingdom would be unstoppable. This is how the enemy operates. He doesn't wait until you are fully established before he attacks. He tries to stop you early, to discourage you before you even begin, to make you question your calling before you fully understand it. He fights your dreams, your purpose, your destiny, because he knows that once you realize who you are, you will walk in power. This is why many people face intense struggles at the beginning of their journey. The moment you step out in faith, the moment you decide to pursue something greater, opposition comes. The enemy will use fear, doubt, distractions, and even people close to you to try to stop you. But hear this. The enemy would not be fighting you if there was nothing worth fighting for. The battle is proof that you are carrying something valuable. So do not let the pressure push you back. Do not let the challenges make you retreat. The enemy is not fighting your past. He is terrified of your future. Keep moving forward, because what is ahead of you is far greater than what is behind you. And no attack, no opposition, no setback can stop what God has already set in motion. The enemy knows you are about to win. No attack can stop a God-ordained destiny. When God has declared something over your life, no opposition, no resistance, no setback can prevent it from coming to pass. The enemy may try, obstacles may rise, challenges may come, but if God has spoken it, it is already settled. Look at history. Every person who walked in their divine assignment faced opposition, but none of them was stopped by it. Joseph was betrayed, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned, but none of that could cancel what God had already planned. He still became a ruler, just as God had shown him in his dream. The enemy tried everything to block his destiny, but the plan of God prevailed. Moses was supposed to die as a baby, but God had a purpose for him. Pharaoh issued a decree to kill all Hebrew boys, yet the very one who was meant to deliver Israel was raised in Pharaoh's own palace. The enemy's attack could not override God's assignment. Even when Moses ran to the wilderness, even when he felt unqualified, even when Pharaoh resisted, God's plan remained unchanged. The same man who fled Egypt returned as a leader and led an entire nation to freedom. And look at David. He was anointed to be king as a young shepherd boy. But instead of stepping into a throne, he stepped into battles. He faced Goliath. He was hunted by Saul. He lived in caves and he endured betrayal. But through it all, the promise of God stood firm. No attack, no opposition, no delay could cancel what had already been spoken over his life. Jesus himself faced constant opposition. Religious leaders plotted against him. Judas betrayed him. The crowds turned on him, and he was crucified. But even death could not stop him. What God had ordained could not be undone. The grave could not hold him, and he rose victorious. The enemy thought he had won, but he only played into God's greater plan. So what does that mean for you? It means that no matter what you are facing, no matter who is against you, no matter what obstacles stand in your way, they cannot stop what God has already declared over your life. The enemy may try to delay you, distract you, or discourage you, but he cannot cancel your destiny. What God has purposed, He will bring to pass. Some of you feel like the battles you are facing are too much. You wonder if you will ever reach the place God has called you to. But hear this today. If God has spoken it, it is already done. Your trials do not change the promise. Your struggles do not erase your destiny. The enemy may fight you, but he cannot win, because no attack can stop a God-ordained destiny. You are unstoppable, and the enemy knows you are about to win. Your victory is inevitable. Keep moving forward. No matter what comes against you, no matter how strong the resistance, no matter how difficult the journey, if you refuse to quit, you will win. The enemy's greatest strategy is not to defeat you, because he can't, but to make you give up before you reach the finish line. He knows that if you keep moving, if you keep pressing on, there is nothing he can do to stop what God has already declared over your life. Look at the patterns throughout history. Every great leader, every person who walked in their purpose had to endure trials before stepping into victory. Joseph had to go through betrayal, slavery, and prison before stepping into his destiny. Moses had to endure rejection, resistance, and years in the wilderness before leading his people to freedom. David had to run for his life, hide in caves, and face countless battles before he took the throne. But the key to their success was simple. They didn't stop. The enemy wants you to believe that your struggles mean you are losing, that because things are hard, you should turn back, that because you've faced rejection, betrayal, or failure, you are not meant to win. But listen to me. Difficulty is not a sign of defeat. It is proof that you are on the path to victory. Jesus himself showed us this. The cross looked like the ultimate defeat. The enemy thought he had won. The world thought it was over. But on the third day, victory was revealed. What looked like a loss was actually the greatest triumph in history. If Jesus had stopped short of the cross, if he had given up in the face of suffering, the story would have ended differently. But he endured. He pressed through. And because of that, the victory was secured. And the same is true for you. The pressure you are feeling is not a sign to quit. It is a sign to keep going. The enemy is throwing everything he can at you because he knows you are close. He knows that if you keep moving, if you refuse to back down, you will step into everything that has been promised to you. Some of you feel tired. Some of you feel like giving up. But I came to tell you today, this is not the time to quit. This is not the time to turn around. You are closer than you think. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you this hard if you weren't about to win. Your victory is inevitable. Keep moving forward, because nothing can stop what has already been set in motion. My friend, if there's one thing you must remember, it is this. The battle is not about where you are. It's about where you're going. The enemy only fights what he fears, and the resistance you are facing is proof that you are carrying something powerful. But no attack, no trial, no opposition can stop what God has already ordained. Your struggles are not signs of defeat. They are signs that victory is near. The pressure is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. The enemy knows you are about to win, and that is why he is trying so hard to stop you. But hear me today, he will not succeed. Keep moving forward. Keep standing firm. Do not allow fear, doubt, or distractions to rob you of what is rightfully yours. What is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you, and if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to back down, nothing in this world can stop you from stepping into your destiny. Your victory is already secured. Your future is already written. So walk with confidence, rise with boldness, and press on with faith, because you are not just fighting, you are winning. Good luck, stay strong, and never stop moving forward. Thank you